Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coet on the call as we come down to the final week of this fall sports regular season, and we're so happy to be back here now at the Milford Turf Field, the fully completed and renovated Milford Turf Field, which will today play host to a varsity soccer doubleheader with the boys soccer team about to take the field here this afternoon against their Taunton counterparts, and then we will have the senior night for the girls varsity soccer team against Taunton coming up a little bit later on this evening, and we'll have both games for you live here on Milford TV. So happy to have you with us and able to settle in and get ready for doubleheader action here on Milford TV across all of our platforms. Milford trying to generate an early scoring chance here right off the opening kick. And this ball getting blasted out of play off the foot of Mateus Sequeira. Just settling into first quarter action. The Scarlet Hawks boys team, it's only our second chance to see this team in action this season due to all of the unrest in the schedule due to the ongoing projects that were going on here at the turf field. I've not seen this team in action since the 7th of September when they notched a victory against the Foxborough Warriors. Unfortunately, victories have been hard to come by since, as the team comes into action here today with an overall record of 3-9-4 in very unusual territory at the back of the pack in the Kelly Rex division. This Taunton team, meanwhile, comes into play today with a record of 7-8-0. They are fourth in those Kelly Rex standings. As Taunton sets up for a free kick just to their attacking side of the center line, and a quick redirect on the header, and it is held on to. An early save made by the freshman Robbie Capelli. Looked like it might have been number 6 for Taunton with that scoring chance. That would be Daniel Freitas. Might be a little slow with the name retrieval on the Taunton side today, as our roster is not in numerical order, so my apologies on any delays. This ball all the way back the length of the field, once again into the hands of Capelli. Milford fresh off of a frustrating loss here on their home field this past weekend in a non-conference matchup against Medway. Finished up in a 2-1 final score in a game that was played under very much less than friendly weather conditions, a lot of heavy rain that the teams played through. The Tigers line up for another free kick chance here still within the opening 5 minutes. Lennon Neves Rodriguez taking that free kick, a little traffic in front of the net after the fact, but again, Capelli is able to keep that ball out of the net. And so already now a couple of scoring chances for the Tigers here within these opening moments. Ball up ahead to Danny De Silva, who has been Milford's scoring leader on the season, but now the ball comes back over onto Milford's defensive side of the field. A much different situation for the Scarlet Hawks team than they've been accustomed to. This has been a dominant stretch for the boys soccer program, operating at the top of the Kelly Rex standings for much of the last decade. Had a string of division titles just barely come to an end last year when they finished in 2nd place. This year finding themselves in 6th place despite all of what has not gone right for the team this season. They currently are within a playoff spot in the power rankings. We'll get into a little bit more of that as the broadcast goes on. In the meantime, still in the early stages here. We want to officially welcome everyone in who is tuned into the live coverage this afternoon. Viewers continuing to settle in on our live stream on our YouTube page. Also live this afternoon on our Milford TV educational channel, as well as our Milford TV high definition channel for Verizon subscribers. Lorenzo unable to settle that ball down. It comes back across the midfield, and now queued up for Andre Mora, who pushes ahead. John Castro and now Caleb Silva, who has it taken away. Milford's captain able to keep it in on the attacking side, Nate Dennis. Some crisp ball movement here for Milford, trying to free up a look on net, and an off-balance shot, a creative opportunity there on the lunge for Castro, but he sent that one up over the goal, but still a good-looking sequence there for the Scarlet Hawks. Sebastian DeRosa, the senior, is in net this afternoon for the Tigers. Their head coach is Jesue Lopes. Now gathering back in at midfield here is the speed of Rodrigo Lorenzo, which we got an early preview of right at the start of the season when we covered that win against Foxborough. Had a goal in that game as part of the victory, and quite a celebration after that goal. We'd love to see some more of those kind of fireworks out of Milford here today. Every goal scored and every goal allowed really crucial here for Milford in these final two games of the regular season as they look to remain within the top 32 in Division II to hold on to a playoff spot. As meanwhile, bodies collide here right along the near sideline. Mora, as well as number 10 for Taunton, that is Devin Poe. Captains on this Tigers roster: Ian Robichaud, Joshua Letourneau, and Javante Fernandez, who is also the top scoring threat on this Tigers team as well. Free kick for Milford ends up deflecting off and across the goal line out of play for a goal kick here for the Tigers. As we are still in the opening 10 minutes, fans continuing to slowly make their way in. I would imagine as this game goes on, we'll start to attract more of a crowd with another game to follow. Silva finding Lorenzo, who lets this one slip past a defender, but not past the Tigers keeper, as DeRosa is able to make the stop. So each team keeping the other's goalie honest here in this opening 10-minute stretch, as Taunton now is quick on the counter. This whistle going against the Scarlet Hawks, with again Andre Mora there and on the play. A little too much physicality there as the two went jousting into the corner, and so now a free kick deep on the attacking side for the Tigers. Milford with a hard deflection. Milford trying for a quick breakout here. De Silva, a little give and go across the middle. Taunton breaks it up, and now Dennis tries to continue to push forward as Danny De Silva gets taken down hard and arms around the back of the neck. That was number 8 for the Tigers. Sebastian Freitas getting very physical with the Milford sophomore. No shortage of free kicks here early on. More on a line. This is going to skip past the Taunton net on the near side. Milford, meanwhile, keeping this ball in deep. Lorenzo closes in. Good footwork as he gets around a defender. And now softly pushes this ball out, and Taunton will get the clear, and now plenty of speed as they press forward. Mora is there for a quick turnover. Daniel Freitas showing good speed for the Tigers there on that play. Milford driving this ball downfield, and DeRosa is out to make the play. Tosses this ball out. De Silva applies pressure. And a good double team there for Milford, but Tigers just able to escape. For a moment, like Castro might have a look at the net. Milford with 21 goals scored on the season. The big number is the goals allowed, 30, which certainly is a high mark compared to what we've seen this team do in recent seasons. Check in on net off the foot of Sequeira. That is again stopped by Sebastian DeRosa. 28:52 on this first quarter clock, still scoreless. Good up and down action here through these early minutes. Here's Lorenzo, nice soft feed to De Silva, trying to get himself free for a look on the net. Now he gives it up. Dennis is there, and his shot gets knocked away before it reaches DeRosa, and Taunton is able to get the clear. Milford now resetting. Up the near sideline, Sequeira. That pass does not reach Danny De Silva, but it's knocked back in. Milford gets bumped off the ball, and now a clear back out towards the midfield. Mateus dos Santos back defensively for the Scarlet Hawks. Milford knocking on the door here with several scoring chances within these first 12 minutes. Looks like we have a timeout called. So that stops the clock with 27 minutes and 23 seconds. Coach De Silva, I beg your pardon, Coach Antonio Pinto, wanting to discuss things with his squad here early on in this first half action. So again, this is the penultimate game of the season for the Scarlet Hawks. They will close things up for the year coming up on Thursday, when they will travel to Franklin to take on the Panthers. And that one expected to be a tough one for the Scarlet Hawks, especially based on how things went when those teams played earlier this month. It was toughest loss of this regular season for Milford, a 7-1 defeat. Putting the pressure on for a good showing here today to give the team a little bit of breathing room heading into the final game of the regular season against a very tough Franklin team. Taunton, after they wrap things up here today, have 2 games remaining. One against King Philip, and then they will close out the season with a non-conference matchup against Durfee High School. Teams retaking the field again, a little less than 27.5 minutes to go in the first half. Scoring chances for both teams. throughout this opening stretch of the half. An entertaining game so far. As Taunton looks for the toss in, for pressuring. Or lobbing this ball up for grabs as Taunton is able to move it along with the header. But Moore again able to push it back onto the attacking side, and now Castro a little wild. Can't settle that ball down. Now Dennis gets bumped off. Taunton quick into the box, and that's going to sneak past for the score. A quick counter there for the Tigers, and it's in for the first goal of the game, 26-49. Milford had the numbers advantage there in the box, but they get beat on the shot by Daniel Freitas. So right after Milford calls the timeout, it's Taunton who's able to emerge with the quick score. So Taunton now with a 1-0 lead. Taunton with a head-to-head victory against Milford already this season. It's a 2-0 win. The teams played earlier this season. They ended up flipping home and away games on the season with all of the displaced games on the Milford schedule. They played back on October 2nd, which was originally supposed to be a game here in Milford. They moved it to Taunton. It's a real frustration here for the Scarlet Hawks, as they've had a number of good-looking opportunities in this half. Not been able to cash in, and now playing from behind. Silva now feeling the pressure. Feet angled in the direction of Sequeria, but it doesn't get to him. And now again, Taunton moving the ball ahead with speed. Now Milford able to push back. Caleb Silva, and that ball played ahead, and it is offsides.
Well, there's also college too.
Yeah, of course you could take it. That's what I did a minute ago. I didn't take it. I took it and offered it. I didn't take it.
And now again, Taunton trying to make something out of nothing on the other side of the field. That time it was 1 against 3, and Taunton nearly was able to get a look at Capelli in net. Milford able to clear out. This game being played with tremendous speed. As we get a quick whistle. 24:30 on the first half clock. Free kick coming up for the Tigers. Ethan D'Souza taking that free kick, feeding it up ahead to the goal scorer from moments ago, Daniel Freitas. Milford gets their pocket picked. Caleb Silva back to retrieve. And now ahead for De Silva. And now Lorenzo. Back to Silva. Good feed just out of the reach of Danny De Silva. And this one escapes back to the Tigers' keeper. DeRosa with plenty of air on that kick, and then a little bit of a boost as Milford had that ball go awkwardly off of them further ahead towards Milford goal, but now the Scarlet Hawks advance along the far sideline. De Silva weaving around a defender. Gets knocked down and stays with the play. And then wisely knocks that one out of play off of a Tigers player to set up a corner kick opportunity for the Scarlet Hawks with just under 23 minutes to play in the first half.
Come on, Milford!
Gabe Santos over to take the corner kick. Not much wind to speak of out there as this kick comes in low, pushed to the middle, and now Nate Dennis fighting to give Milford another look as he gathers down into the corner. A couple of deflections, and still staying in bounds. This is going to drift back now for Caleb Silva to bring it inside the box. Scrambling in towards the net, and that eventually goes out of play. It looks like we'll have a corner kick now on the near side for Milford. Santos gathering a new ball from behind the Taunton goal.
Yeah, they should. Why are they trusting those kids over there?
And then right in front, it's knocked away with the hands for DeRosa, and then eventually pushed out of play by the Scarlet Hawks. I believe that was Mateus dos Santos with that second chance look, sending it up over the net and out of play. And so we get close to the midway point in this first half, with Taunton continuing to lead by a score of 1-0. For taking control here, Rodrigo Lorenzo just in front of the Taunton bench. Pushes back towards the middle where Dennis is waiting. Can't control, now tries to gather back in. It's Lorenzo who steps back into the play. Lorenzo with a little bit of a shove as that ball went out of play. No whistle. Taunton taking it the other way, but Dos Santos now with a big boot. It's reeled back in by the Tigers. And now quickly taken away by Castro. Off a little feed from Lorenzo. He sends one on goal, and a sprawling save is made by Sebastian DeRosa. Threatening to even the score. Plenty of distance on these goal kicks for DeRosa. This ball will take a couple of hops back to Robbie Capelli. Lorenzo curls around. A couple of touches for that ball to find Giovanni Capelli. Milford's last win on the season came all the way back on October 4th.
Go, Joe. Come on, boy. Up there.
Giovanni is like John.
As they come ahead now with some speed. Lorenzo, some open space in front. And it didn't look like he got all of that as he released the shot on goal, and it's smothered by DeRosa. Since that last win, Milford has gone 0-5-2. And in that 7-game stretch, they have been unable to score more than 2 goals in any of those games. That last victory Milford. They scored 7 goals. So the offense has been a bit hot and cold on the year for the Scarlet Hawks as this ball takes a big hop back to Capelli. Rolls it out towards Dos Santos. Gets to take it up the far side of the field with now 17 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Dennis now across the field and out. Settled down by Mora, and he'll guide it back to his own keeper. Capelli taking his time and now drives it across midfield. Knocked back towards Nate Dennis.
Let's go, Joe.
For guiding this ball towards Sequeria. So now,
Come on, Joe.
forcing this ball in, nobody home for the Scarlet Hawks, and that goes out of play.
No, they're just fun to watch.
Lorenzo will get a rest on the bench.
Are you serious? I cut so funny. Too fast, and then it's like a turtle. It's so funny. Are you surprised? This is like I know. You see the touch?
This team's jockeying for position around the midfield. Taunton now trying to press forward. Ball on the foot of Daniel Freitas. Once again, Milford with some of the youth players out, shagging balls along the newly completed track. A lot of striking colors out on the field now with everything fully completed. Newly completed black surface on the track, encircling this brand new field turf, which was completed right at the end of the summer. Strong look here on the home field for the Scarlet Hawks moving forward, and certainly most importantly, quality surfaces all around here now on the turf and the track for these Milford athletes to enjoy moving forward. Again, it's Sequeria on the move, able to accelerate. Nice feed. And now the shot on goal is juggled and eventually held onto by DeRosa. Milford generated a quick chance for Giovanni Capelli.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a goal while playing right here, outside back.
Giveaway here along the far sideline for Milford. And now pushed back.
Nice pressure.
Door on the midfield, turning around and playing that ball back deep to his defense. Almost ended in disaster. For now, Taunton able to maintain control. Up the length of the far sideline, and that will travel out of play. Goal kick for Capelli. As we make our approach towards 10 minutes to play in the first half. Lone goal in this half on the Taunton side. Dennis now will let one go. Silva over to his right, but elected to take the shot, and it was an easy stop for DeRosa. Now guns that ball back towards the middle. Rodrigo Lorenzo quickly back out on the field now. Silva, long feed right towards the edge of the box where it's pulled down by DeRosa. Taunton with some room up the far sideline now, and this will go past everyone and scooped by Capelli. Fed over to Mora.
Back up.
Lorenzo pushes ahead, and offsides is the call. There's also some clutching and grabbing there as Milford tried to advance on that ball. It's like Capelli had the arm locked up there as he tried to move ahead, but regardless, the play was offsides.
Yeah, but like us, that and us. Oh yeah,
Dangerous ball just left up for grabs. Freitas able to pounce on it. Now Milford in a scramble, and again more extra physicality there. Ball deflecting out along the near sideline.
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Nice to see you.
Tigers tossing it in. It was a sunny day here in Milford until maybe about 15 minutes or so before this game was about to begin, and then some heavier cloud cover rolled in. Not expecting any precipitation. Certainly this boys team dealt with enough rain over the weekend in that game against Medway. Moved along Trisaquaria. A hard deflection. And Taunton awarded possession as that ball ricocheted out in front of the Tigers bench. Taunton again with the toss. Milford redirects it towards the middle. Under 10 minutes to go until we reach the half. Taunton advancing through a crowd. Milford now able to direct back towards the middle. Milford looking for a quick restart, but officials bring it back. Now set to continue. More hard physicality. Lorenzo moved along by Bruno Esteves. Silva can't progress further as Taunton sends it back to the center line, and it's quickly gobbled up by Rodrigo Lorenzo. Back across center now for the Tigers. They'll blast this in from long range, and it's wide to the far side of the Milford net. Not a ton of traffic here in front of Capelli since the goal. Goal scored about 14 minutes into this first half to give the Tigers the lead. Substitutions coming in for the Tigers now as we continue with just over 7 minutes. Lorenzo blanketed along the near sideline. Now this ball drifting towards Andre Mora. Superia can't take it back again. It's Mora. Now for Lorenzo. Actually lobs this ball up the near sideline. It's corralled there by the Tigers and eventually sent out of play. Toss in here from Milford on their defensive side of the field. Whistle comes in against the Taunton goal scorer, Freitas. Or it gives way to Gianelli Chassin for the free kick. Caetano along the far sideline. Back out towards the center of the field for Esteves. Pushed ahead, but well wide of the Taunton net. John Castro returns to the field. Ryan Rivero, the freshman, out. About to dip under 5 minutes to go here in the first. More twisting and turning eventually finds Dennis, and Dennis directing that ball towards Rivero, but ends up out of play. So now full speed ahead. Touched by De Silva. Lorenzo trying to send a shot on net that's deflected away. So much talent, so much speed for Lorenzo. It's felt at times in this game like maybe trying to do just a bit too much on his own. Lining up for an intriguing free kick chance. They have Dennis and Lorenzo. Dennis leaves it behind. Lorenzo winds up, sends this ball right into traffic, and catch eventually made by DeRosa. Heated exchange on the sideline. Taunton coaching staff with the players out on the field after that play, but ultimately no harm done on the scoreboard. Still a 1-0 Taunton lead as we were about to reach 3 minutes to play. Taunton sending this ball in from deep. It's knocked back on a header for Milford that almost had Capelli in a panic, but fortunately it went over the crossbar and out of play. And a corner kick chance for the Tigers. Low kick. Dos Santos able to knock it back towards the corner. Now low to the ground. It's deflected out. I believe that went out off of Dos Santos. So another chance from that far corner for the Tigers. This one will come with just about 2 minutes left on the clock. This one right on target for Daniel Freitas, but Milford was able to clog things up in front of the net. That one eventually going out of play. Freitas looking for his second of the game. So getting tangled up there with Brian Ribeiro, and now the Tigers quickly advance. Milford able to win possession back. Now the ball taken away from Castro and it's pushed all the way back to the Milford keeper. Mora now sending this ball down the near sideline, takes a hop towards the Taunton bench, stays in, and now Milford able to regroup. About a minute or so to go in this half. De Silva again with Taunton grabbing a piece of the sophomore's jersey. It seems as though De Silva has been the recipient of a lot of physical defense here in this first half. Meanwhile, a lot of time wasted here gathering a ball from behind the net. And right now, Coach Pinto out on the field. Looks like he's called another timeout, trying to preserve what's left of this first half clock. No shortage of ball kids on the sideline, but yet that was very slow to develop for the corner kick opportunity. Coach Pinto, you can tell there is a high sense of urgency on this coaching staff for these players to come away with a victory today, and falling behind early now, needing to turn things around. So perhaps the last opportunity here for Milford to get on the scoreboard in this first half. Corner kick coming in from the near side. Over anyone's reach. Milford trying to track it down at the edge of the field of play, but that goes out. And that is the final play here in the first half. So missed opportunity there right at the close of the half for the Scarlet Hawks, and so they will carry a 1-0 deficit into halftime. Right now, 8 minutes posted on the clock for this intermission. So to all of our viewers tuned into our live coverage, just hang with us for the next 8 minutes, and we will return for second half coverage of this varsity boys soccer matchup between Milford and Taunton, with the Tigers leading Milford 1-0. Stay with us here on Milford TV. welcome back into the Milford turf as we get underway with second half coverage of this varsity boys soccer matchup between your Milford Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Taunton Tigers. Taunton currently holds a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a goal by Daniel Freitas in the first half. Milford had their chances throughout that opening 40 minutes, but could not cash in. Just joining us, settling in for soccer doubleheader action here on the turf this afternoon. So happy to be back here on Milford's home field after an uneven fall season of games here at the Milford complex due to ongoing renovations that have been taking place. And we want to really acknowledge all of the hard work of Athletic Director Peter Boucher, Lori Pinto, the entire athletic staff here who have been doing quite a bit of juggling to try to get all of these games in at multiple locations throughout the season. Making sure that the season moved forward as smoothly as possible was not an easy task. The soccer program certainly had to bear the brunt of the uncertainty of when the field would be ready. Making the best of a tricky situation, and happy to have doubleheader action here on our final day of soccer coverage for the regular season. Get one more look at each of our fall sports teams here as this week progresses. The boys and girls soccer teams today will have girls volleyball coverage coming up later on in the week, and then we'll close out the week with the Milford football team back at home. Milford now looking to attack from left to right across your screens. As we settle into second half action, again, Tim Coet here with you on the call. Patrick Garapi manning the cameras as he has done throughout this fall sports season. Lights on here now at the turf field as we get deeper into the second half, coming up on 5 o'clock in the evening. Danny De Silva now. Soft touch towards Caleb Silva, gets broken up. So we'll have girls soccer action to follow. Kick for the Scarlet Hawks. A good opportunity on the header, and it is in. And the Scarlet Hawks quickly to start this second half are going to level the score here at 1. Appeared to be the senior captain, Nate Dennis, depositing that one in off the header, and a quick flurry there in front of the net.
Do it again, Milford!
Milford is able to even this matchup. See if that gives Milford a little extra jolt here early on in the second half. Ready to resume here with the toss in for Milford along the far sideline. So according to our stats, that's the third goal scored this season for Nate Dennis. More importantly, tying this game up at 1. Milford was unable to get on the score sheet against Taunton when these two teams played earlier this month. And now another quick opportunity developing. Nate Silva trying to give that ball a little touch over the reach of the Taunton keeper, but DeRosa was able to hold on. Trying to send that ball along the far sideline. Milford able to intercept. So pushing back towards the center circle. Silva now reaching. This time the whistle going against Milford. Christian Rodriguez lined up for the Taunton free kick. Pushed on, and Superman dive for Robbie Capelli. Keeps that ball locked up and started up along the far sideline. 34 minutes and 14 seconds on the second half clock. Pinto continues to be animated on the sideline. With another free kick. Mora, some equipment that went flying as he was the first to that ball. It eventually goes out of play. Tossing for the Tigers. Knocked away by Dennis. Just moments ago, tied this game up. Renzo going down, draws the whistle. Continues to check the face as he stays out there. Took some contact up high. Now jumps right back into the thick of it. Taunton able to get the clear as far as center. Moore trying to apply pressure. This ball comes loose. Capelli has to swat at it. It's a heads-up play for the freshman as he had pressure bearing down. Now up ahead, trying to hit De Silva in stride. Castro fighting for position. De Silva over there now as well as that ball deflects out of play. Goal kick here for the Tigers. 9 minutes into this second half. Goal from Dennis has tied the score up at 1. Mentioned it briefly. And Milford right now, despite just the 3 wins on the season, still have a playoff spot within their reach. It is the top 32 teams in the Division II power rankings that make it into the state tournament bracket. And as of today, Milford finds themselves 29th out of 32, so within that playoff field, as Lorenzo goes tumbling down, draws the whistle. Boys just hoping to hold on to playoff positioning over these last 2 games of the regular season and take their shot at the state tournament. Kick here from Milford. Can they take the lead? And they keep it low. A hard deflection off the hands of DeRosa. And it ends up out of play. That deflected beautifully for a second chance for like Phil Caetano, but couldn't keep it on line. It went wide to the near side. Very near score to give Milford the lead, but it stays a 1-1 tie. Castro can't get there now. This ball driven back deep. Dos Santos trying to send that ball over towards Capelli. It doesn't get there. Now Milford in a panic, and that ball ends up out of play. It looked like Dos Santos was trying to guide that ball back towards the keeper, but did not have an angle. Led to a mad scramble. Taunton now will have the toss in. Driven across the goal mouth towards the near corner, and that is going to go out of play. Milford a chance now to guide this ball out of harm's way. 28:35 on the second half clock. Taunton trying to advance. Knocked away. And Milford perhaps with a numbers advantage here if they hustle. De Silva able to get around one defender. Now a Taunton player down in some pain. Back to their feet now for Taunton. It was Javante Fernandez involved in that contact with De Silva. Javante De Silva, he's been relatively quiet in this game so far. Overall on the season, he is tied for third in the Hockomock League in goals scored. He has 9 to go along with 2 assists. One other player on this Tigers roster has more than 1 goal scored. That's Christian Ferreira. Well, I should say there was only one other player with multiple goals scored besides Fernandez. That was until Danny Freitas scored earlier in this game. That was his second goal of the regular season. Lets this ball go And you can see it, Milford lobbying for the corner kick. They get the call. So that deflected out off of the Tigers, and Milford once again deploys Gabe Santos to take the corner kick. Another opportunity here for the Scarlet Hawks to take the lead. Ready to go. The kick coming in from the far corner. Right to Dennis. He heads it down, and it is in. Second goal of the game for the captain, Nate Dennis. The first one tied it. This one gives the Hawks the lead. It is now 2-1 Milford. Milford with the lead now, and a little over 26 minutes to go in the second half. 2 unanswered goals now in the second half for the Hawks. Gabe Santos, the corner kick specialist, hitting that one beautifully for the redirect from Dennis for the score. Milford trying to capitalize on the momentum swing, which has gone decidedly in their favor here in the second half. Taunton now on the move. As now Milford has a player go down, as this ball is shanked wide to the near side of the Milford goal, and now with Scarlet Hawks player writhing around on the ground. Will draw the Milford training staff out onto the field. Clock right now paused with 25 minutes and 28 seconds to go. And so as we kind of take stock of where things are at here at this final week of the regular season in the boys soccer ranks, it's been a similar pattern in both the boys and girls soccer standings this season. It's been really top heavy, the play in the Hockomock League this year. For boys soccer, it has been Franklin and Attleboro who have been battling towards the top of the standings all season. Franklin right now with just a 1-point edge on Attleboro. Franklin's 12-0-4, Attleboro's 12-1-3. Oliver Ames also has been running away and hiding with the Davenport division. They are 12-2-1. They are the only team above 500 in the Davenport division. No one else in the Davenport has more than 4 wins, so if Milford were still in the Davenport, they would be contending for second place. This ball comes in on a bounce. It's played by DeRosa. Back to action here. A little less than 25 minutes remain here in the second half. Milford with a couple of goals to take the lead. Looking for more as this ball is angled towards the middle for Castro. De Silva also there right in front of the goal. They'll play it back for another look for Danny De Silva. Just off target. Milford applying a whole lot of pressure right now. And right now Taunton back on their heels. They call the timeout. Stops the clock with 24 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll take a quick pause here on the broadcast as well. A 2-1 lead now for the Scarlet Hawks. We'll be back in just a moment here on Milford TV. Back to action after the timeout. Just under 23 minutes to go in this second half action. If you're just joining us, Milford has come to life here in the second half. On the benefit of a pair of goals scored by the senior captain, Nate Dennis, playing in his last regular season home game. Putting 2 goals in to give Milford the lead at 2-1. Pressure has squarely been on the Milford attacking side in the second half. Another whistle going against the Tigers. Lorenzo getting a shove. Chassin, sophomore, taking the free kick. Too far out in front. An easy pull down for DeRosa. For quickly intercepting that ball. Here's Lorenzo again, trying to knife between a couple of defenders, and he goes tumbling down. This time looks back to the official, but no whistle this time. Girls team looking on in the stands here as they prepare for their matchup against Taunton coming up after the conclusion of the boys matchup. Taunton now with a good ball out towards the middle of the field. Dos Santos able to get a foot in the lane there to deflect that ball away. Out of play, but a corner kick opportunity presenting itself for Taunton. Quick substitutions here for both teams before the corner kick. Just saw Milford take the lead on a corner moments ago. This one in tight, knocked away. Taunton now will take the corner from the near side, this time a little pass. Third straight corner, this time Coach Pinto lobbying that should have been last touch by Taunton. Does not get the call in Milford's favor, so a third straight corner kick. This time pushed down with the header, but wide to the far side of the Milford net, and the Scarlet Hawks escape. Back towards the middle of the field. Taunton still with possession. This has been their longest stretch of possession so far in the second half. Milford bringing an end to it here. Ignacio Alcaraz Martinez pushing ahead. Now centering it up. Nobody home in front of the net except Tigers jerseys. Now Daniel Freitas getting separation from Dennis. And now Lorenzo with a quick theft. He pushes this ball ahead. Danny De Silva racing, he tracks it down. Silva one-on-one escapes a defender, but now has the ball knocked away. Toss in here along the near sideline. lot of back and forth here over these last couple of minutes. Milford now carries across the center line. It's knocked back in by the Tigers. Lorenzo now with a deep boot that is hauled in by the Tigers keeper. 17 minutes and 39 seconds on the second half clock. Feel the intensity ramping up as we get deeper into the second half. Gathered in by Xavier Mercado, pushed along the far sideline. Andre Mora there. Coach Pinto sneaking in a substitution before the toss-in. A bit chillier as the sun fades off in the distance. Dumped in. Capelli waits. Is that down? Silva can't quite corral that ball. Now back towards the midfield. Lorenzo sends a short little pass that's picked up by Sequeria. Trying to dig it out of the corner, but runs out of real estate. Marching down towards 15 minutes to play. This game has had the feeling of a playoff game, which for Milford essentially is. If you want to get in to the tournament, you got to win this game. Good control as he sends that ball up the sideline. Players with a heavy collision there, no whistle. Lorenzo on the money with the pass, sending this ball spinning across the goal mouth, and it looked like DeRosa was able to get the fingertips on it, and that was enough to push it wide. Perhaps not making contact with that ball as it turns out, as we'll have the goal kick, so just out of the reach of DeRosa. Would love to pad this lead, but still time to go. Dos Santos popping this ball straight up in the air. Now Lorenzo timed that jump poorly. Fernandez down in the corner, working against Dos Santos. The ball goes out of play. We'll have a goal kick. Pushed back in deep by the Tigers, but again, that will be well wide of the net. Milford girls JV team arriving here at the field, from the sounds of it, off of a victory. Just out of the reach of Dennis, but Milford with some layers across the middle. Sequeria guiding it up ahead.
Hi there.
Silva has it taken away. Taunton able to get the clear. Dennis across the middle. He'll stay with it. Now back across. Dangerous territory. Milford able to make the defensive play. Now Mora can't get the clear, and so Taunton will regroup. This ball back in towards net, and the catch is made by Robbie Capelli. Cool under pressure here. Milford can't settle it down at midfield. Now Dennis will dump it deep. DeRosa, the keeper, trying to push it back out. Milford will gather in from there. And a nice feed on sides, perhaps a scoring chance here. And the stop is made. Ignacio Alcaraz Martinez maybe rushed it just a hair, sent it low towards the post, and good positioning for DeRosa to make the save. And so bringing this ball ahead once again. Milford leaves it behind, and for a moment Giovanni Capelli couldn't find it right at his feet. And now delivered out of play by Taunton's Joshua Letourneau, one of the captains. Again knocked out by Letourneau. Quickly approaching 10 minutes left in the second half. Just out of the reach of De Silva. Lorenzo going a long way here. The ball going in the wrong direction for Milford. Now taken away from Mora. Now with a little touch pass to Dennis. Dennis on target to Alcaraz Martinez. Capelli couldn't fight through the double team. Got a toss in for the Tigers. This will take us under 10 minutes to play. Teams fighting for it along that far sideline. Taunton able to advance. Now stopped by Martinez. Lorenzo getting in the way. Capelli from distance, and it's scooped up by DeRosa. Ball deflects out off of Taunton. Dennis will give way to Ignacio Alcaraz Martinez for the toss-in. A verbal warning there as we redo the toss-in. Couldn't quite catch who received that warning. Threat of a card being issued. The action continued. Lorenzo losing control. Scrambling back as it's pushed along the near sideline. Martinez, and out of play again. This will take us down close to 8 minutes to play. Whistle here against the Scarlet Hawks. Free kick just outside of the Taunton goal. Pushed across the midfield and then dumped back in all the way back to the Tigers keeper. Milford does a bit of clock management here in these later stages. Can't afford to get too passive with just the 1-goal lead. Cleared out now. De Silva eventually finds it along the far sideline. Oops, a soft pass that couldn't be controlled by Cerqueira. Now Taunton back on their attacking side. Andre Mora giving chase into the corner. Another goal kick here for the Scarlet Hawks with less than 7 minutes to go. A tight game from start to finish here. Taunton with the first goal of the game early on in the first half. Carried a 1-0 lead into the half, but Milford on a couple of strikes from Nate Dennis have come back to take the lead. And meanwhile, a immediate yellow card issued to the freshman Giovanni Capelli. Getting a little undisciplined with the contact, and he knew it immediately. Immediately turned and made his way off the field. Free kick down deep. Goes on to play off of the Tigers. Possible it was Capelli that got the warning from the officials a few moments prior, and then eventually did take its prior, and then eventually did take the yellow on the sideline with 5:38 to go here in the second half. Milford looking to break a 7-match winless streak. Milford has just won one match in the entire month of October. This ball is loose and can't be contained initially by Capelli. Unfortunately, Taunton was already turning upfield as that ball popped free, and Capelli was able to eventually cover up. Still all kinds of intensity from the coaching staff on the Milford sidelines, wanting to see the Hawks finish out this game strong. Right now the game clock is frozen as we're under 5 minutes. Double team. I think Milford was lobbying for a handball there. Instead, no whistle. The ball goes the other way. And Taunton forcing a ball in. It goes off the side of the cage, out of play. So right now, another timeout taken late in this one, less than 5 minutes to go. It's been an intense matchup between these two teams, coming down to the final moments. try to get a look during the timeout to see if we can find right now where the Tigers stand in terms of power ratings. See if we can get that before the end of this one. That's right now the teams retake the field out of the timeout. Goal kick coming up here for Milford out of the timeout. Milford with some space along the far sideline. Just out of the reach of Castro. More contact, another yellow card is issued here. This one appears to be against the Tigers as Sebastian Freitas heads towards the sideline. He seemed to come sliding in there late. So a lot of stoppages here in these later stages. Milford now with a free kick that goes bouncing over the Hawks' reach. Now contact up high for Taunton. To another free kick chance here, so a choppy finish to this one as this ball gets redirected on target, but the stop is made by Capelli. And that appeared to be Daniel Freitas there making a bid for his second goal for the Tigers, but a critical save made by Robbie Capelli to keep it a 2-1 score. Coming down towards the final moments. Milford struggling to get a clear here, and now trouble brewing as this ball is wide. But Taunton will have the corner kick chance. Lennon Neves Rodriguez will take the kick from the near corner. Comes in low. Milford just dumps it over towards the near sideline out of play, and Taunton very quick with the toss back in. Knocked out of play again off the body of Rodrigo Lorenzo to set up a second corner kick chance. Now the toss, all of this action deep on Taunton's attacking side. Milford with a couple of headers to send this ball out towards the far sideline. Possession still with the Tigers. Right now they're playing with their keeper up on their attacking side, so the Taunton goal is completely vacant. Tigers really selling out here, giving themselves the man advantage, bringing their keeper up into the attack. And a circus kick that's going to drift just up over the crossbar. Milford will have the goal kick here with the final seconds ticking down. Meanwhile, a player collapsing just in front of the Taunton bench. Lennon Neves Rodriguez eventually helped off. Dennis drives this ball up. Right now, DeRosa is back towards the Tigers' net. Back to play this ball. And Dennis sends this ball up the far sideline, and that drains out the rest of the clock. The final whistle sounds, and Milford grinds out a critical victory here on their final regular season home game. They break that 7-match winless streak in come-from-behind fashion as they grab a 2-1 win here on their home field. And again, it was the captain, Nate Dennis, leading the way for the comeback win with 2 goals here in the second half. So Milford emerges victorious, and they keep their playoff hopes intact going into just one final regular season game to go. So right now, all celebrations out there for the Scarlet Hawks. Solid victory all around as, again, Milford wins it by a final score of 2-1, 2-0. That updated on your screen. So Milford wins it by a final score of 2-1, again, courtesy of 2 goals from the senior captain, Nate Dennis. With the victory, Milford improves to 4-9-4 overall on the season, and with the loss, Taunton falls to 7-9-1. But again, this is not the end of our coverage here from the Milford turf today. We'll reset things out on the field and then have varsity girls soccer for you coming up. The expected start time was 6 p.m. I have a feeling we'll be a little bit behind that start time. The girls team's already heading out on the field to get warmed up and ready to go, so we'll have more action for you coming up very soon. If you're tuned in on our live stream and you want to hang around for the girls soccer coverage, we're going to end our boys soccer live stream, and we'll get a fresh stream started up for game number 2 coming up very shortly. So we encourage everyone, if you're tuned in to us, to stay with us for the girls coverage coming up in just a few short minutes here. But in the meantime, we'll celebrate a solid victory for the Scarlet Hawks boys team as they defeat the Taunton Tigers once again by a final score of 2-1. For Patrick Garapi, I am Tim Coed. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.